Let's get started in the NBA with playoff seedings because it's still on the line for several teams. In the East, the Milwaukee Bucks have already clinched a playoff spot near the top of the conference, but their current hold on the 2 seed remains in jeopardy. That's because Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak, went down last night against the Celtics with a non-contact injury to his left calf, and many were concerned about his Achilles. Milwaukee still won the game in convincing fashion, by the way, completely obliterating the Boston Celtics. However, sources told ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski Giannis's left Achilles tendon is fully intact and his return depends on how quickly he can heal. The Bucks currently hold a 1-game lead on the Knicks for the number 2 seed, who also won last night against the Chicago Bulls. The Bucks can act like they're not concerned. I'll be damned if I'm going to sit here and act like I'm not concerned. I'm very, very concerned about Giannis Antetokounmpo. So concerned, in fact, I'm not so sure definitively that he should even play the rest of the season. Let me remind y'all that years ago in Toronto, during the NBA Finals, between the Golden State Warriors and the Raptors, Kevin Durant, then a Golden State Warrior, went down. He had got hurt in the conference finals, if I remember correctly. He was out for a few weeks. Came back for the NBA Finals, ultimately played in Game 5. And when he went down, he was done for 2 years, basically, because of an Achilles tear. It started off as being a calf injury. It started off as being classified as that, with them determining that he would just need a few weeks off and then ultimately he would be okay. But he came back, and within a quarter, the man was down and out for good. I remember that, never forget it. I was at the game in attendance, and I watched fans cheering, and Klay Thompson waving them off, going off on them. Steph Curry and others looking at them. All of them walking back to the locker room. Kevin Durant being helped back to the locker room, followed by Steph Curry to the locker room. And the Golden State Warriors would ultimately lose the NBA Finals in 6 games to Kawhi Leonard and the Toronto Raptors. This is not something to play with. If you are a shooter, you could take a chance because if his health is compromised, ultimately he can come back and his game is not predicated on that level of success, being a marksman from the outside. But this is Giannis Antetokounmpo that we're talking about, the Greek freak, who's a locomotive coming at you at 6'11", a gazelle, running up and down the court, unstoppable locomotive, constantly coming downhill and putting opponents on their heels. If he ultimately suffers an Achilles tear because it was perceived as being a calf injury like it was for Kevin Durant years ago, and he finds himself in that kind of predicament, his career could be severely compromised for years to come. That is what we're looking at. That is the dilemma that we have to entertain. And that is why I say I'm hellified worried. If I'm a Milwaukee Bucks fan, if I'm a New York Knicks fan, there's a better shot at the number 2 seed. It's assurances that I wouldn't have to face the Boston Celtics until the conference finals, assuming that I could win some of those games that would take place within the Eastern Conference. I'm in a battle with the Orlando Magic at this moment for the 3rd seed. Milwaukee only has a 1-game lead on the Knicks for the 2nd seed. The Knicks just beat them up in Milwaukee the other day. That's how I'm looking at it. Knicks got the Celtics, the Nets, and the Bulls next. The Bucks got the Magic, the Thunder, and then the Magic again. I think Milwaukee's going to end up losing 2 of those games. And that puts the Knicks in position to win their 2 and ultimately secure the number 2 seed within the Eastern Conference. That's how I'm looking at it. Orange and blue skies, baby. Orange and blue skies. But I am not happy that Giannis Antetokounmpo is hurt. I wish you nothing but great health, my brother. We love you. Those of us who love the game of basketball, you make the league a better place. We wish you nothing but sincere, 100% pure good health. And I hope you get back on the court sooner than later.